Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the ninth week of our Tech Bytes project development course. Every single Wednesday, we're working on a cool project with the programming language of Python. We've previously made Mastermind, and now we're going to keep on working on our Tic-Tac-Toe project, talking more about that, coming to a close in the next couple of weeks with that as well. I'm making some good progress. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Have a bit of fun to start off today's class, and let's keep that fun going. You guys already know who we are, guys. My name is Rayan Siddiqui, but a new little addition which we added today with me and a lot of you, we added some quotes about some cool things related to CS. My quote is, "Code never lies, but comments do." A guy named Ron Jeffries. Ron Jeffries is the guy who helped develop, I'm assuming you guys probably never used this, but Windows XP. It's a very old...
Oh, yeah, I've seen, like, there's Windows XP simulators online.
Yeah, it's a very old
There's so
Windows operating system.
about Windows XP.
What's about
There's
me?
so many memes about Windows XP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hearing it now,
And, like,
there is, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was that, like, the sound. Like, people put
We're
the
having
sound to
four.
so much things.
Well, you guys gotta
Yeah.
wait to see lobby. But
our old, very old computer when I was around, it was still, like, very, very basic computers. Like, I don't know, because the younger generation will remember, but the desktops were huge. And basically, we had Windows XP, and I used to just shut it off and switch it on all the time because I love the sound.
it's like the rock sound.
I was 3. I was like literally like 5 or 6.
Wow.
I'm sure it's pretty iconic. It's like the Mac sound. You know, when you turn it on, you get that, like that. I don't know. Is it like guitar? How do you know?
Yeah, and then people said it to so many different like things. So yesterday I was just like on YouTube, so I saw like a short video. So somebody like fluffed their dog's hair down slowly, like, so they went like this. They went this, and then they were just like yeet upwards at the end. It's hilarious to see.
A lot of different combinations.
Yeah, it's hilarious to see like people setting things up to that. Like,
well, going back to the quote, we know that Ron Jeffries, pretty cool guy. Windows XP, pretty cool operating system. But code never lies, and comments do. It's like what we done. We code, and sometimes when you're coding a lot, you end up commenting less. Remember, commenting is the idea of us explaining what code does. So say in a month, I go back to see why and how does this code work. Usually what ends up happening is that you don't spend that much time commenting on your code. And when you go back, you're like, how did I write this? What was I thinking in that point of time? And it usually becomes a little mousetrap. You're going back and forth trying to figure out what you were doing. But the code doesn't lie. So that's the main thing. Commenting and coding, both things we got to keep on working on as we make bigger and bigger projects. But now let's see what loud you guys.
Yep. All right. It's the same. Code is like humor. When you have to explain it, it's bad. And I kept it the same because it's so true. Like
oh yeah, I've seen this. Isn't this on like a TV show?
I don't know, but I just quoted Corey House. It's the reason why. Oh my God, Chase, you're already making conclusions. No. Okay, but if you have to explain to someone what your code does, that means it's either spaghetti code or the code's not working. And you need to keep your code, I guess, organized, and it should explain itself with a couple of lines of commenting. But yeah. Yes, Team Lobby, let's go.
Wow. Okay, well, let's do a quick poll. If you guys like the Lobby's quote, let's get a quick thumbs up.
Let's break my heart.
Oh,
two thumbs up. Let's go.
All right. And what about Ron Jeffries' quote? All right.
I'm gonna quit right now.
Windows XP all the way.
Next week, how about you guys bring in some quotes as well? We'll take a minute to share at the beginning of class, and we'll see. We'll have a quote war, as Chase likes to call it now. But now let's get on going. We are all good with the Google Classroom. Getting back to our project of Tic-Tac-Toe. We're coming to a close. Last week we made a bunch of great progress. We'll be recapping what we did last week, make sure we're all on the same page. But guys, remember, the same idea still is the same. Tic-Tac-Toe with Tkinter. Lobby, you remind the class what we're doing?
Yep. And tic-tac-toe, the 3x3 game where two people play, one with an X, one with a 0, and we see who wins. And then Tkinter is the graphical library that we use to make something. It sounds like, I'm not gonna say it. What is it? What does it help make? Not a GUI, but a GUI. Okay, I answered my own question, but there's this word GUI, GUI, yeah, graphical user interface. Basically, Tkinter helps us make the buttons, the animations, the colors, and on-click functions. Yes, Chase, it's very GUI. Also, tic-tac-toe with Tkinter. Actually, let's just move on to the next slide. It's coming.
And guys, just a quick reminder, last week we did a bunch of work with Tkinter and creating some more functions. Specifically, we added some on-click events. Remember when we click a square in our 3x3 grid, what's supposed to happen? Are we supposed to see an X mark, a circle mark? We did some live debugging with our moves, seeing who could go when the X and circle could go. And then we also added the switching the turns functions. And this week, we got one big objective.
Yep. Now we did start on knowing how to check if one player has won. Last time when we did the whiteboard and we figured out how many ways there are to win. So quick quiz, pop quiz-ish. How many ways can someone win a tic-tac-toe?
5,
Go
I
ahead.
believe.
I think there are more.
8.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did go over this last time. So let me annotate really quick. So there are the 3 vertical ways, 3 horizontal ways, and then 2 diagonal ways. And those are the ways to win here. I'll just make the, no. Here we go. Okay, very nice. Okay, whatever, you guys get what I mean. So we did whiteboard this last time, and today we are just going to code how to figure out how to check if 3 in a row are the same shape, or 3 in the same column are the same shape, or if this diagonal has 3 images or values of the same shape.
Exactly.
And
do that, guys. Just a quick recap
yeah.
about our last week's term. Anybody remember? We remember the term we're going to be utilizing today called 2D arrays. And it's a way for us to see where and what move has been placed in a certain square of our 3x3 grid. So we're going to be utilizing that today, along with something a bit unique with Tkinter in order to check what's going on in a specific square. But the idea is still going to be the same. We'll show you guys in a little moment. But how about... Oh, this is okay. I guess we got to whiteboard this out. Remember, this is how our 2x2 grid is going to be for tic-tac-toe. In the top left, we're going to have 0, 0. The coordinates like an XY system. Going from the top left, though, a bit different than our usual math class type XY grid. But then as we go to the right, we increase our columns by 1, and then as we go down, we increase our rows by 1. And as a quick reminder, if we have a 2x2 2D array, what's the size? How many elements can that hold?
9.
Exactly. So Chase, can you remind us what's the rule when we're talking about dimensions with 2D arrays?
It's usually like 1 off. In 2D arrays, they count 0 as a number. They start 0 and go up.
Exactly. So say we have a 2x2 array, the size, aka how many elements it can hold, is always the number, so 2 plus 1 squared. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 squared is 9. So with that out of the way, quick reminder, we went much more in depth last week, but at this moment, does anybody have a question? Any confusion about 2D arrays? Because this will be very fundamental for today. You can private chat us as well. If we are all good, we can go ahead. Alrighty then, see no questions. I guess we will be continuing on. Guys, let's go on towards our coding project on Replit. I will be dropping the link to our shared Replit in the chat below so that you can get caught up. I'd recommend if you want to keep on working on this project, if you want to keep on building your skills, I'd highly recommend you work on a separate REPL as we're going along. But if you'd like to get lost, you can always copy and paste the code we got going on as well. This can also be found in our Google Classroom, guys. So if you go on to the classwork tab, it should be the week 8 project development update. You can find it there. Give you guys a quick moment and we'll get started. Oh yeah, that's fine, Avanish, if you're on your iPad. As always, if you guys do have 2 devices available, it's much more convenient, but if not, you can definitely follow along and run the code later as well. Do let us know, guys, if you guys are having any trouble though getting on, and we'll fix that as well.
The good thing about Replit is there's already cloud networking.
There's what working?
Cloud networking.
In Replit?
Yeah. So I'm not okay, hold on. Let me just clear it. Stop. I'll just run it. Yes. So like, hold on. I just put that X down.
Oh,
So I can. It's like cloud networking.
Okay. You're talking about a move you're making here, which we can see live. That is pretty cool. It's Replit.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. It's the closest thing I'd say.
That's a first draw. First draw.
When you said cloud networking, Rishi, you know what I thought of? That's why I was a bit confused. We're talking about some games or some stuff called like IP protocols where you're sending and receiving information. I wonder if Replit can do that though. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
I win.
Well, we'll know who won for sure once we have coded today's code. But before we get there, just a quick reminder, guys, what we did last week. Last week, we already had finished up our create button function. So when we have these clickable areas, you can see when I hover over, like Rishi is doing right now, we added those, which actually appear. We made the colors for our X and O's. We added a switch turn function using the idea of modulus, because remember, when we're modding by 2, there's only 2 possible scenarios. It's either going to be a 0 or it's going to be a 1 remainder. Using that idea, we were able to figure out whose turn it will be. And then most importantly, we worked on the clicking function. What actually happens when we actually click a square? What appears, is it a circle, is it an X? And then we also finished up some of the GUI with the Tichinter. You guys can see Tech Bytes Tic-Tac-Toe. We made that title. But now today, let's get towards the main idea for this product, that being the logic. The logic with our for loops and if-else statements, checking where and who has won. Like a lot of you talked about earlier, guys, we got 3 down, we got 3 across, and then we got the left diagonal, and we got the right diagonal. So a total of 8 scenarios, which we will eventually have to check for. So let's get on started. First things first, I'm going to create a function. I'll say check. We can call the function check for winners. Add your colon, make sure indentations are proper. And now, yep. And if you guys do want to copy, you can Control A, select the whole thing, and paste it into your own Replit as well, guys. Alrighty, so now let's think about this. We have 8 possible scenarios which we can check for. Looks like we're getting, oh, that's because we have no code. So ignore the error for now because I don't have anything written in my check for winners function. But we have 8 possible scenarios, guys. Now 8 possible scenarios. That means 8 if-else statements, checking if this position equals the same as this position equals the same as this position, because I know that if 3 positions up, down, or in the diagonal have the same marker, aka the X or circle, that means a winner has occurred. But for me to write that code 8 times in a row, that's pretty tiring and it's very inefficient. That's one of the main things which we're trying to highlight as we build more bigger projects, is the idea of efficiency. If we can write code which is simpler, more easier, we're going to take that path 10 times out of 10. So today, does anybody have an idea? This is a bit of an older term. We haven't really discussed this in the past week, but we've used it a bunch with Mastermind and in the early weeks of Tic-Tac-Toe as well. How can we make our lives easier? What code term can we use to do something repeatedly? What's up?
Is it an if-else loop?
Yep, so it is the main word, a loop. Now the trick question is right here. Are we going to be utilizing a for loop? Do we know how many times we got to run this this loop? Or are we going to use a while loop?
I would say while, yeah. Me and Avanish, virtual high five.
Anybody have a different idea? Well, in this case, if you would like, you can
Well, can't you just say like while 3 X's are in a row, somehow detect those?
Yep, and the way we're going to be detecting those is utilizing some type of conditional, which we'll be writing today. So like Chase, you guys were saying, you could do this today in a while loop. The main area where I'm going to be utilizing a while loop is not for the diagonals. For the diagonals, I'm going to create a separate two if-else statements. But for the 3 down and the 3 across, those 6 possible scenarios, we can use a for loop. We can just say run this 3 times, check this condition, this condition, this condition, and the up and down. My hand's showing all that movement going on. And then we can separately hard code the diagonals. If you'd like, you can also do a while loop. So I could have like a variable called x, set that equal to 3, and then run a while loop while x is less than 3, and then make sure to add 1 to x. And it would do pretty much the exact same thing. So it doesn't really matter. I'm going to use a for loop today. It's just simpler to write because we're minimizing the lines of code we got to write. So I'm just going to say for x in range of 3 times. And then add my colon like that. And now here is where the fun with the 2D arrays and a bit of a Tkinter difference will occur. So as a reminder, well, where did our...
Just saying, Replit is not just repl.it, it's replit.com. They're moving.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just got a notification.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's big news.
Yeah. Okay, now let's take a look at why we are getting this error still on.
It's for x in range. You still need to put something inside it.
Oh, okay, okay. Thanks. All right, so now how about we start adding our conditionals? So on the right, if our game eventually comes back up, I'll just do my own handmade drawing. We're going to be utilizing a for loop, guys, for these 6 scenarios: the downs, across down the columns, and then across the rows. So remember, as a quick reminder, we have 9 different positions. We got 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. And actually, how about we just make this look nice so we can refer to this back. All right, so up here, we got 0, 0. Right here, we got 0, 1. Right here, we got 0, 2. Here, we got 1, 0. Who can tell me what we got in the middle? What's the middle square represent?
1, 1.
Right, we got 1, 2. And then the same pattern continues. 2, 0, 2, 1, and then 2, 2. So now I'm going to use a for loop in order to make my life easier when going 3 down and 3 across. So what I'm going to do is say if our button array, which is the array holding all the moves which the user or anybody playing the game is making, at, and I'll say at x, and then at 0. So this is now representing whatever x is at. So say 0, 0, 0 at that position. So x is at 0. We're looking at the 0 to 0 position. So whatever move has been made in the top left square, if you'd like to call it. And now with Tkinter, the way this array is made up, we have an additional area we're going to be looking at. And this third area is going to be called the text. So don't worry about this. Our same concept still applies. We're still looking at that top left square, but that's just one extra thing which we have to add. Not really anything to worry about though. And what we're going to do is say if that top left square, I can just copy and paste this area, is equal to that position at the 1. So say I'm looking at 0, 0, is that equal to 0, 1? But there's one more place I have to look at to go 3 across that top row. Anybody have an idea? It's still going to be x, but at what position?
0, 2.
Exactly. And this will take care of all 3 of our rows. Rows. Looking at left to right, and left to right. Now, the cool thing with this if statement is we can actually also look at the 3 columns going down simultaneously. And the way we can do that is by adding something we haven't reviewed in a while called De Morgan's Law. Anybody remember something to do with De Morgan's Law? Or and not the word, the word and or statements? Anybody remember those things from a while back? Okay, so it has been a quick minute, so we'll do a quick refresher on De Morgan's Law. So De Morgan, not really, he's the guy behind the the rule, right? Transistors double their speed. No, is that somebody else? Oh, that's De Moore, right? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm confused about that. Okay, never mind. Yeah, De Morgan is totally different. Ignore what I just said. Remember, guys, De Morgan's the guy who told us a couple of cool things. So say we have a Boolean variable called x. If that is false, if I were to print out exclamation marks x, then anybody remember what this would print out? It's the opposite of x, aka
Negative x.
remember in Booleans we have two values. We got false and
0.
True.
exactly. So say if we're not false, then we're true. And if our x was initially equal to true, then if we were to flip it, what would it be?
False.
False.
Exactly. So that's one of the cool things which we can use De Morgan in order to write less amount of code when we're looking at certain stuff. But also De Morgan taught us a couple of other things in Python. Say we want to check if multiple, so we're going to check multiple conditions are true. We can use something called an AND. So if X condition is true and Y condition is true, then run this piece of code. So that's the code word we can use. But also there's something we can use and see if either conditions are true. So say we have multiple conditions. If any of them are true, then we can run that that code. Anybody have an idea or remember what's that called? Starts with an O. 2-letter word.
Operator?
Op.
Or. So if this is true or this is true, doesn't matter. If any of these conditions are true, then I know that something which I want to happen has occurred and I can run a certain piece of code. So that's some of the stuff which we got to remember from De Morgan's, and it's what we're going to be using today. When we're going to be using our large if statement, we can check 3 rows across, but we can also check 3 columns going downwards as well. And the way we're going to do that is called using this idea of an OR. If any of you guys have used JavaScript, I know we have some people who made some projects here in JavaScript. Anybody remember? How do we check if we're using an or and in JavaScript? Anybody remember? Bit of an extension.
I only have ever
curly
done
braces?
Python, so.
Equal and then exclamation.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not equal to.
Yep, so what Avanisha said, this is a thing not equal to. So that's absolutely correct. But if we're talking about an and, in Python, it's super simple. We can just literally write it out. But in JavaScript, we usually have 2 and signs like that. And then for an or statement, it's a bit more different. It's probably a key which you really don't utilize on your keyboard. It's shift and then the backslash like that. Those two. These denote an or statement. Something to keep in mind, as in the coming months, who knows, we'll be going to JavaScript as well with projects. So that's a little thing to remember there, but that's the main idea with De Morgan's Law. He has a bunch of cool things you can read about online, how Booleans, you can change conditions, manipulate them, and see how things change as well. But now let's apply it to our project. So we're going to utilize that idea of an OR now for the columns. And what I'm going to do is say OR, the button array, not looking at the row now, looking at the column. So at the 0, and then whatever X position I'm currently looking at. Now for that, I'm just going to copy this to make my life easier and paste that. If that position in the column is equal to the position at the first index, and if that is equal to at the second index, then we know that a person has won as well. Add your colons like such. And now after we got that monster of an if statement printed out, we can use something cool with Tkinter. Tkinter has a built-in library for us to make alert statements. So if you ever use JavaScript, you know, we can type a line of code like alert, and our whole screen will pause whatever's going on in the background for that alert to pop up. Tkinter also has something cool. Avanis, you started a timer 3 months ago, and now it's at 748 hours. Keep it going for a year. We'll see. We'll keep it going until our last day. How about that? Let's see how long that keeps going, right? So now we're going to do something called, what's up, Avanish?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep on going.
Sounds good. So now we're going to use something called a Tkinter library, which I believe we imported. Yeah, there we go. Message box. We haven't used it till now, but we're going to use it now. And essentially, you'll see what it does. It's like a little pop-up message, which is going to say who has won. And it's super simple to use. What we're going to do is say message box dot a function built in called show info. And now here we can literally write out whatever we want. So say we want to say you have won the game. So we can just say congratulations, player. And we can also say which player has won. So we can do player, and then we have a variable keeping track of whose turn it is. That is in the current move variable. So I can say player, whoever's turn it currently is, has won, like such. So now how about we actually go ahead and test this idea out? If I go right there, right there, right there. Oh, this is a diagonal, never mind. We'll do that next. Let's do a column or a row. There we go. And this code will not run. Can anybody tell me why? Why is that message or that little pop-up not showing up? We made the function. The logic seems perfectly fine. And
you haven't done the physical alert.
The alert.
You didn't say print.
So remember, print and message box are the same thing. Print, it prints it out in the console.
Okay.
Message box is like a way for us to make it look nicer.
Is it like in front? Like, is it in the back?
No. So that
It has to do something with line 36.
exactly. So we got a function, but what are we doing with that function?
Nothing.
And
Exactly.
should we be doing something?
Yes.
Like
We should be checking for the winners constantly.
exactly. So what, Rishi, putting the spot right now? What's the logical place for us to put this?
Yeah, you didn't put anything in the check for winners parentheses.
True. We're not passing in any parameters. But what's a day one idea of Python? It does functions don't automatically run. We have to. It's a word, four-letter word.
You have to make them run. Like you have to give them like you have to say print check for winners, I guess. Like something dot check for winners.
A little hangman right here. It's a four-letter word. You have to run this function. It's not like JavaScript where you can link it to a button. Okay, let's go. Let's do a little speed run. Tic-tac-toe. What do we got, guys?
S.
No S.
T.
No T.
A.
We have an A right there, second position.
R.
R? No R. Come on.
Start. Do we have to start it? Oh, right. No, that's not
F. F.
Say the right word. F. No, no F.
L.
Alvin, getting 2 letters. Come on. One letter left. Who's gonna buy the word?
C. 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 It's called.
Exactly. We gotta call the function. We got the code written down.
I got it.
Alvin, you have won the $1 million prize on Wheel of Jeopardy.
I
Congratulations.
mean, technically, shouldn't the head be last because it's Hangman and you don't want him to die? Technically, when you put on the head, he's dead.
Well, we can debate that all day
It's
long.
supposed to be for the word Rishi.
I'm talking real world.
Well, the idea is right. There we go, Avanishan. The main idea is we gotta call the function. We got the code written down, but we're not actually running this code. And the way we do that is calling this function every time a user makes a click. So say a person makes a position, they go in the top left, we're checking if they have made a move, which is gonna allow them to win. So that is what we're gonna be doing now. So essentially, we can just write the name of that function, add the parentheses, and there we go. This is where we are calling our checking winners function, like such. Does that make sense for everybody?
Let's try it.
Yep.
Alrighty. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's run it. Let's go across in a column. What do we got going on? We got errors being printed out left and right. Let's see.
It's all X's.
Yo, why are there so many? Is it a glitch or something? Because I saw 2 mouse cursors on the screen.
Let's give me one moment. Let's figure on this.
No, that's
Yeah, I
not a
can see
glitch.
two mouse cursors.
No, it's
Did
not.
you guys hear that like Replit is gonna change to Replit.com?
Yeah, I just told the class in the beginning.
You have to let one person do it because on my end it shows that there's like two people doing it.
Yeah, one
Or
second.
it's like really glitchy.
Okay.
Yeah, but like mine's not working because mine is all X's and I have it on a separate REPL.
Let's recall this. Show info takes from 0.
Never mind, it's working.
Oh, wait. Okay, I think I made it wise because I think this function takes in 2 separate parameters. Is that why? You have, yeah, that part. Okay, let's try taking this out and it's running like this. Let's stop and rerun. So if I go 3 across the world, looks like we are already being printed out an empty box though. Okay, let's do it. Okay, looks like the message is being told, but it's in the top. Huh, that is very interesting. So it looks like we're being told that the winner
It's
has.
making like our message the title of the thing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see, why is this happening? Oh, wait, there is one very important line of code which I am missing. So, okay, I think that's what is happening. So if we think about it, right now the code we have written, right, we're checking the 3 columns and 3 rows, but what we're doing is saying if whatever's in that okay, let me whiteboard this out. I think you have to understand this is interesting. Live debugging is always fun because you get to find out solutions in the moment. So we got that 3x3 grid, right? What our code is doing right now is checking the 3 columns and the 3 rows. But the thing is, it's checking if whatever's in that square is the same as the other squares. So when the game loads up, if a square is blank, if this square is blank, and this square is blank, and this square is blank, it's going to say a winner has happened because the blank is prevalent, aka is present in all the squares. So there's one thing which we got to check for. We got to add a condition which is going to say if those 3 squares have the same move piece. So that is something which we got to look out for and see if that works. So does everybody make sense why it's not working? Right now, it's like empty space. If empty space exists in all 3 squares, then the code is going to run. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, the way our code, it's incorrectly working, but it's working right now correctly in a sense when you think about it, because what we wrote down is actually working, but we're not specific enough. It's an idea which we talked about way at the beginning. We got to be super specific to computers. And right now, we're slightly specific. We're saying if these 3 positions are the same, then run that code saying you have won the game. Only problem is if there are empty spaces and all 3 of those positions have empty spaces, then our code will run. So let's fix that up right now. What we have to do is add one more equal to. So we're saying if all those 3 positions are equal to one another, and those 3 positions are equal to the current move, then we know a winner has happened. And then we can add the same logic till the end right there. And now, hopefully with that logic fixed up, let's rerun this. Let's go there. We don't have diagonals at the moment, remember? Whoever is running. Let's just try going 3 across. We'll go right there, right there, right there. And circle goes there. X, there we go. So my window's a bit weird sized up, but if you just saw, we saw that it said X is 1. And now we can try the same thing with circle. Let's go throughout the middle. Oh, X1. Okay, let's try it again.
Why is it showing a little box with the coal and the oak?
There we go. I think that should make it look better. So now, if you go 3 across circle, it's saying congratulations, you have won. And what we can also do is now add the part where it says which player has won. So we can say congratulations, player. And now right here we can say the current move. Whoever's at the current move, you have won the game. So let's run this now. See if that's working out.
Maybe you should also, since you've like done this before, like the game, you should put like your name. There should be a box. You type your name, then you play the game, and then at the end you'll put your name.
Okay, so it looks like that is still having an issue, even though the code. Oh wait, is it?
For mine, it says that like I copied pasted your code because I was messing up, so it's not working for me. It says that it keeps the message box keeps showing up.
So remember, copy and paste it again, Rishi. I just added one more line. This equals current move. There we go. Okay, now it says, I guess message boxes are a bit weird. In Python, traditionally, we write a comma to separate a variable, but in message boxes, we can just add the plus sign. There we go. Alrighty, so with this idea in mind, we got one more step left to do, that being the 2 diagonals, and we can knock those out right now. It's going to be a bit similar to what we just did. So what I'm going to do is just copy this whole block and paste it outside of the for loop, because these are going to be 2 separate statements we write off to the side. And you can just copy this whole thing, actually. We're just going to change up the positions we're looking at. So instead of looking at the X, because there is no more X in our for loop, this is outside of the for loop, I'm going to say the 0, 0, which represents the top left, this spot, and this spot. So 0, 0 is equal to whatever's at the 1, 1 position, this middle box. And then what is this last position? Anybody tell me? This one right here.
2, 2.
Exactly, that 2, 2 position. And now what we're going to do is the same thing for our other diagonal. This one, the middle one overlap, and this one. So I'm going to say the top right is, anybody tell me? Right
0, 2.
Exactly, the middle is 1, 1. And the bottom left, Chase, what is it? Right here.
Isn't that like 2, 1, 2, 0?
It is 2, 0. There we go. Alrighty, so now let's try running it with some diagonals. Clear this up. Run this through. Rishi, go ahead. You've been messing around. Go ahead. Let's see what goes. Let's try to win in a diagonal format. Oh, we added this. Oh, let's try to do a diagonal. Here we go. So you go in the middle. And there we go. We have the diagonals and the 3 across 3 down working correctly. Congratulations, player X has won. There we go. We have completed this big idea with 2-dimensional arrays, guys, of us looking at 3 across 3, 3 across 3 going downwards, and then the 2 diagonals. Pretty much, this is now bringing us till the end. You guys can keep on playing with it, seeing different scenarios in which you can win. But now all that's left is some ideas for next week. Just the little things which we got to brush up on. That being like a reset function, what happens at the end of the game. We can also look out for what happens when a player ties. What if it's a catch game? If one person has not won. Chase, our next video gaming hour will be next Friday, I believe, of March. Yeah, it should be next Friday. Yep. So stay in tune for that. But we are coming to an end. So next week, anticipate that being the last week for our tic-tac-toe project.
March 19th, right?
What's
Yeah.
about?
Gaming hour.
Yeah, next Friday, every other Friday. And keep in mind, guys, as we're wrapping this up next week, new project ideas. I know Chase brought us a really good idea We can share that out next week as well. But keep those in mind as we keep on working. But guys, thanks for staying with us. Live debugging, had some fun there. You guys are seeing some live coding action going down. Guys, take care, and we'll catch you guys next week. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.